Hey guys, what's going on? So, reaction to Mandalorian, season 3, episode 4. Wow, there was so much to unpack, and it's going to be a quick video, but I mean, dart throwing Grogu, outstanding. Mando culture, again, just getting to see that, outstanding. Although at this point, I'm also kind of like, between the gator monster and the birds, what the hell are you doing on the planet? Go move to another planet. I mean, didn't Din tell everybody that Mandalore is, livable now? Just go. Like, what are you sticking around on that crap beach for? Time to find a new gig. So, but yeah, I mean, just loved everything about this episode. I literally cannot wrap my head around people complaining about it. The few that are, I'll never understand you. I really won't. I don't want to either. This is so cool. Like, Grogu got a rondlet, which is weird because normally it's like something that blocks over here between the inserts in your armor, but it just covers just like his whole chest. Can't wait to make one for mine. Loved everything about this episode, but oh god, Ahmed Best coming back as Beck, just that dude is a legend, man. And I've seen some people online like, oh, now we're retconning him into a legend. I thought we hated him. It's like, no, we didn't. We never hated him. People hated Jar Jar Binks. And I get that. You know, when I was in high school and it came out, I didn't care for Jar Jar Binks. But think about what we have now. You like Thanos? Well, that's an actor being digitally replaced, even though he's an on-set stand-in for FOCAP. Because he's not actually on a mocap set, he's doing FOCAP. That was something that was mastered and perfected by Peter Jackson's crew at Weta, but they learned it from George. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Did you pay attention in the DVD specials for Lord of the Rings? Peter Jackson can be seen visiting Rick McCallum during the production. He went and met with Rick McCallum to see what they were doing for Star Wars Episode 1 when Peter was prepping to begin Lord of the Rings. And one of the things they went over was how they were doing the character of Jar Jar Binks, because Peter knew that's how he was going to have to do Gollum at some point. So all the stuff we give Andy Serkis credit for, Ahmed Best did it first. And Andy has said this in an interview, that, a lot of the techniques and things, when he met Ahmed Best, that they had talked about it. And he didn't realize that, a lot of what Peter was looking to start to do was originally what they were doing, and then they evolved it at Weta. But Ahmed Best was in costume, in stand-in, because they were going to do a head replacement, which was revolutionary of itself. And then they did a total body replacement. Sound familiar? That's what Gollum was. So Ahmed Best pioneered all modern digital characters with his performance for Jar Jar Binks. And whether you love Jar Jar or hate Jar Jar, most of us hated him, but we all know him. We know what that voice sounds like. We know it. So the dude's legendary. That character will outlive him. And he received hate, death threats, constant trolling and things that forced him to go into therapy and consider taking his own life. And he didn't do that. And he never once said he regretted being Jar Jar Binks. He always said, I stand by my performance of the character. I'm just sorry it wasn't accepted. But I did what George's vision was for this character. And I think I did a good job. And he did do a good job. It just wasn't accepted by people. But he didn't do a bad job. The character is displayed exactly the way they wanted it. And that's what a good actor does. And so to stand by that character all these years and then eventually be invited back to do like that Legends of the Hidden Temple Jedi version that they did on Disney Plus, which got railed by the pandemic and couldn't finish. But I love that show. That was really cool. I thought that was so cool that he was like master of the Jedi trials for Padawans and things like that. And I thought, what a cool way for Ahmed to come back to Star Wars and still have an influence. And of course, it's with children. It's to pass on Star Wars to the next generation. And I thought that was an appropriate thing for him. But once those doors opened and I saw him, that they canonized that character for him, for the guy who was accused of killing Star Wars, even though it's George's character, for the guy who was accused of putting life into the character that killed Star Wars, he's the same guy who saved the character that's responsible for saving Star Wars. So I love the symmetry of that. And I've been thinking about it over and over again, like who it could be. I wouldn't have been happy with Quinlan Vos being introduced that way. I wouldn't have been happy with it being Barriss Offrey, and I wouldn't have been happy with it being some rando character we never heard of, or just a random clone trooper played by Tamura. There was no version where I was happy. And then when I saw Ahmed, I was like, they found a way to make me happy with it. I absolutely agree with it. I absolutely love it. Brilliant. And I hope that we see more of that character. I hope we see more of it. I mean, that gold filigree on the costume was just fantastic. So, yeah, I really hope there's more. But if there isn't, I mean, that dude Harry Pottered Baby Yoda out of there, man. He got on the bike and Hagrided the crap out of that. I loved it. I just thought it was, and, double friggin' sabers wielding, deflecting. Took out all those Jedi. They didn't take him out, man. That, to me, is just so cool. I was so happy that he got to have a badass moment, and it's his face, and now this character will live on and be appreciated. And he's played 3 on-screen people for Star Wars. He had a cameo in the bar in Episode 2. Of course, he's played Jar Jar, and now he's played this character. So Ahmed's played 3 people in Star Wars. I mean, he's arguably one of the most Star Wars people of all Star Wars people now, and I really love that. But I love that his character is cemented now. And I mean, the other thing too is he's flying a Nubian cruiser. Well, we know where Padme is at that moment. She's over there weeping into Obi-Wan's beard. So she's not the one who gave him that ship. Who's the only other Nubian senator out there? Jar Jar Binks. That's probably Jar Jar Binks' ship. So the very idea that Ahmed's other character assisted this character with getting Grogu out of there, and they made both of those characters associate with Grogu, is just only Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni could come up with that. That's brilliant. So I really, really enjoyed this episode. I love what it implies, but I love just the respect for Star Wars that Dave and Filoni bring. There's a love there. And to go back and say, hey, you were in this thing. We want to reach back to the prequel era and give you a better experience for Star Wars than you had. They could have just left it. And Ahmed could have said no. He would have been like, I don't want to go back to Star Wars. That sucks. I mean, we all know Jake Lloyd isn't coming back to Star Wars. He says Star Wars ruined his life. That wasn't Ahmed. He still said, no, I love Star Wars. I'm sorry people didn't like it, and it was hard for me, but I still am proud of doing that character. And he always stuck by Star Wars. And so, of course, Dave and John said, you know what? We appreciate your loyalty. And this is definitely Kathy. And I know people are going to be bitching about this, but screw you. This reeks of Kathleen Kennedy, because she is very loyal to people who are loyal to her. Of course, she would reach out and say, you've been good to Star Wars. I 100% agree you should bring him back in this role. And that's probably how he got the hosting job in the first place, because that was a very Kathy thing. And so John and Dave and Kathy bringing him back for this and cementing him into this, of course. It makes so much sense, and it's fantastic. I love it. But if you don't know why he's a legend, I hope this little snippet here explains a little bit of that. But this is a guy who, he's Tesla to Edison, right? Like, he just doesn't get the credit he should. And I hope now that he's a face, people will go back, look at his work, and in hindsight, start crediting him for more than what he's been credited for. Because I know Andy Serkis gets all the credit in the world, and I give him all the credit in the world. I love Andy Serkis to death. I'm such a fan of his. I have all his Lord of the Rings audiobooks that he did the voices for. Like, I'm obsessed with his work. But I got to tell you, he wasn't first. Really, Ahmed Best was first with that. And even you could go back to the rotoscoping era for like Roger Rabbit and Cool World and things like that. But in terms of the modern digital replacement character, Ahmed Best did it first, and arguably did it so well because that friggin' movie from 1997 holds up today. You could watch that in 2023, unupdated, unedited, and that movie holds up today. So that's impressive, and again, that character is a clearly defined character. You never think of it as an actor. You don't occasionally hear Josh Brolin and go, oh, that's Josh Brolin. That is, Jar Jar is considered its own entity. That's a good actor, man. And so, is he the best actor in the world? Is he going to get an Oscar? No, but I hope he gets to show up at Celebration, and I hope he gets a giant standing ovation, and that it just blows him off the stage, because that is an Oscar for that man, if you will. And I hope the Star Wars community gives it to him now. But I was so happy with that. And if you weren't happy with that, go fuck yourself.